Welcome to the Learning English podcast. Hey everyone, I'm Chase, your friendly co-host, and I'm here today with Michelle, our brilliant expert. How are you doing, Michelle?
Hi, Chase. Hi, everyone. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
So, Michelle, I have to ask, how's your sleep been lately? Sleeping like a baby or tossing and turning?
Actually, Chase, I've been sleeping pretty well lately, solid 8 hours last night. Feeling pretty refreshed today. How about you?
Lucky you. I had one of those nights, lying awake, thinking about random stuff, like why penguins don't fly. It wasn't exactly restful.
Oh no, Chase. That's definitely not ideal. Your penguin pondering actually brings up an interesting point about sleep in our brains.
Really? I was just joking, but let's go with that. Michelle, can you start us off by explaining just why sleep is so important for our brains?
Absolutely. Sleep isn't just resting, it's essential maintenance for your brain. In his book, Why We Sleep, Matthew Walker explains that sleep is fundamental for memory, learning, emotional balance, and overall mental clarity.
Right, that's fascinating. Let's dive a bit deeper into memory. First, how exactly does sleep help us remember better?
Well, throughout the day, our brains take in a huge amount of information, which gets stored temporarily in a region called the hippocampus, almost like a temporary flash drive. When we sleep, especially during deep non-REM sleep, our brain moves these memories to long-term storage, our cerebral cortex clearing space for new information the next day.
Ah, interesting. So, without good sleep, our memory would fill up, like a flash drive that's never cleared?
Exactly. Have you ever tried learning something after pulling an all-nighter?
Oh, yes. Back in university, I stayed awake cramming for an exam. The next morning, my brain felt like mush. I couldn't recall even basic facts that I'd studied just hours before.
Precisely, Chase. Walker actually found that pulling an all-nighter can decrease your ability to form new memories by up to 40%. So, that experience wasn't just you, it happens to everyone.
Glad to hear I'm not alone in that disaster. Okay, so that's non-REM sleep. Michelle, I've also heard a lot about something called REM sleep. Can you explain the difference between REM and non-REM?
Sure, REM sleep or rapid eye movement sleep is the phase where most of our vivid dreaming happens, while non-REM sleep focuses on memory consolidation. REM sleep is more about emotional regulation and creativity. During REM, your brain's emotional and creative areas become highly active, while your logical centers dial down. This combination allows for creative thinking and emotional processing.
So, REM sleep is when our brain basically has an emotional spa day, right?
That's a great way to put it. It helps reduce stress and anxiety, making tough emotional experiences easier to handle the next day.
That makes sense. Sometimes when I'm stressed, I feel better after sleeping, even if nothing in reality has changed.
Exactly. Your brain has worked overnight to process emotions, reducing their intensity. That's why sleeping well can make us feel less anxious or irritable.
Michelle, this reminds me when I was younger. I had this big argument with my brother. I went to bed so angry, thinking I'd never forgive him. But after a good night's sleep, I woke up feeling like the problem wasn't such a big deal after all.
That's a perfect example of REM sleep helping you emotionally reset. Chase?
Okay, I feel smarter already. Now, Michelle, what about creativity? You mentioned earlier that REM sleep helps with creativity. Can you elaborate?
Of course. During REM sleep, our brains make unusual and novel connections between ideas, creating fresh perspectives. Have you ever heard the phrase sleep on it?
Definitely. My grandma always used to say that whenever I had a problem,
Grandma was right. REM sleep literally allows your brain to approach problems from new angles, often leading to creative solutions. Many famous inventions, books, and songs actually originated in dreams.
like how Paul McCartney famously woke up with the melody for Yesterday in his head.
Precisely. Dreams and REM sleep have inspired countless creative breakthroughs. So, Sleep isn't wasted time, it's productive, especially for creative minds.
Clearly, my lack of musical hits must be due to insufficient sleep.
Possibly chase. But seriously, getting consistent good sleep could enhance your creativity more than you think.
I'll keep that in mind. So, if our listeners want to improve their brain power through better sleep, Michelle, what practical tips would you recommend?
First, prioritize consistency. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Second, keep your room cool, dark, and quiet. This environment helps deepen sleep quality. And importantly, avoid screen time before bed, as blue light can interfere with melatonin production and disrupt sleep.
Ah, yes, the dreaded phone before bed habit. Guilty as charged.
I think most of us are guilty of that. But small changes can make a huge difference.
Indeed. So, just to recap quickly, sleep helps our brains consolidate memories, regulate emotions, and enhance creativity, thanks largely to the combined effects of REM and non-REM sleep. And to get these benefits, we should try to maintain a consistent schedule, set up a relaxing sleep environment, and avoid screens late at night.
Perfect summary. Chase, you're becoming a sleep expert yourself.
I've learned from the best, Michelle. But before we wrap up, any final words of wisdom?
I'd just like to remind everyone that sleep isn't a luxury, it's essential. Protect your sleep, and your brain will thank you in every area of your life.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Michelle, for sharing your insights. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in today to the Learning English podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation or found it helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, leave us a comment about your sleep experiences, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great content.
Absolutely. We'd love to hear your stories and answer your questions in future episodes. Take care, sleep well, and see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Sweet dreams.